Hello and welcome. You've tuned into Business Lunch. I'm Nisha Podar and with me is Sonal Bhutra. Sonal, we are celebrating here our 21st anniversary and looks like the market is also celebrating with us at lunch hour. In fact, we must thank all our viewers for all their support throughout our entire journey. But let's take it straight to the top headlines at this hour on lunch. Well, let's take it to markets then first of all. And Sensex as well as Nifty continue to notch up fresh highs on a day when Asian stocks are largely in the red. Oil and gas as well as pharma stocks lead the rally and mid-caps outperform.
Nifty Bank recovers from lows. HDFC Bank and Kotak Mahindra Bank are the draggers, but ICICI, PSU and mid-cap banks and NBFCs soar in trade. Axis Bank CEO Amitabh Chaudhary cautions on retail loan stress in Q3 and Q4, also adds that surplus liquidity and intense competition is pressuring margins for all banks.
LIC chairman sees the preparatory work for an IPO taking 6 to 8 months. On equities, he sees more volatility and plans to book some more profits, while Samir Arora expresses skepticism over sustainability of the widespread rally in the short term, though he maintains a positive outlook over a longer term.
And top honchos of India Inc. speak to CNBC TV 18 on its 21st birthday. From Deepak Parekh to Bharat Puri to Sandeep Kataria to GV Prasad. They note recovery in business but also remain cautious on whether the green shoots will grow into a full-blown growth cycle.
Bharti Group's Akhil Gupta tells CNBC TV 18 that the group is serious about its payment bank ambitions after the recent RBI panel report on bank licenses. Separately, he said that Airtel's decision to buy Bharti Infratel shares was driven solely by attractive valuations. And Gupta also said that he is confident that Vodafone Idea will continue in business. All right, at lunch hour, well, the markets are looking great at this point. Sensex, Nifty, even Bank Nifty is participating and the broader markets, that is the mid-cap index participating. So therefore, the market strength as well as the breadth is also looking very, very strong, Sonal.
Oh, absolutely, Nisha. In fact, it's the financials, right? In last couple of minutes, they have actually led to the gains that we are seeing in the Nifty and in the Sensex as well. Bank Nifty also up around 230 odd points. And in the broader markets, the mid-caps have been doing well. And it's the pharma index that has notched a 5-year high. And all these stocks, they are at 52-week highs. A lot of them, in fact, Sun Pharma, Gland Pharma, the new listing, that is looking also very good. So all in all, as you were pointing out, Nisha, markets are celebrating with us, our 21st birthday. So on that note, let's also talk about the important part, that is the update of the COVID-19 situation in India. Active cases slipped below 4 lakh after falling for 10 straight days, down by around 6,519 to the lowest level since July 20. However, sharp drop in single-day testing numbers continues to be a worry. 8.01 lakh tests reported versus previous days 11.01 lakh. Fatalities rise by 391 in the last 24 hours, whereas the death rate remains at 1.45%. The recovery rate is inching towards 94%. The total number of cases are now at 96.77 lakh, with 3.96 lakh active cases, 91.4 lakh recoveries, and 1.4 lakh lives claimed so far.
All right, staying with the COVID updates, remember it's so important. Now, Pfizer has reportedly sought emergency approvals from India's regulator to roll out its vaccine in the country without clinical trials. Now, additionally, Bharat Biotech has clarified on the efficacy of Covaxin vaccine, saying that its efficacy can be determined 14 days after the second dose and that the 2 doses are given 28 days apart. Let's take it straight across to our colleague Ekta Batra, who's joining us with the details on both these updates on vaccine. Ekta.
Thanks for that. Well, you know, Pfizer India is in focus because they are seeking emergency authorization from the DCGI, which is basically the Drug Control General of India, for the COVID-19 vaccine to introduce it in India without clinical trials. Now, the reports indicate that experts are expected to consider the application as early as this week itself. Remember that Pfizer, the parent company, has already received approval for the vaccine in Britain and Bahrain. And in terms of transport and logistics, that will be something to watch out for quite keenly, because this particular vaccine is expected to be stored at around minus 70 degrees centigrade. Talking about vaccines, I just want to point out for Serum as well, they have applied for the emergency use of its Covishield vaccine in India. Plus Sputnik, the vaccine which Dr. Reddy's is in partnership with the Russian authorities for. Dr. Reddy's expects to complete phase 2 trials by January and probably phase 3 trials by March. So those are a couple of updates with regards to the vaccines at this point in time.
Ekta, thanks a lot for joining us with all those updates. Well, Ekta was talking about Dr. Reddy's, so let's listen into what the management of Dr. Reddy's had to say to us earlier today on the vaccine and market outlook.
We've commenced the phase 2 trials in India in a few weeks ago. The trial is an adaptive design, with the phase 2 and the phase 3 will go very fast after the phase 2 results are seen. We expect the trials for the phase 2 to be completed in early January or so, and the phase 3 by March. The vaccine has data for stability at what, minus 18 degrees centigrade, which is still a big challenge for the cold chain. But India has some experience at minus 20 degrees for the measles vaccine, and hopefully we can leverage on that experience. It's a very limited competition product. The API availability is a big challenge here. So I think I think the Federal Circuit decision came a little earlier than what we were expecting. But having said this, now we are focused on launch readiness. We expect to launch it very soon, within a month or maybe a couple of months.
All right, so that was a big corporate voice on CNBC TV 18. But remember that it's reigning exclusives right here as we complete our 21 years today. And we get you some of the biggest corporates in the industry. Let's also hear out Deepak Parekh, Amitabh Chaudhary, PV Balaji, Akhil Gupta and many more on their outlook on growth as well as the road ahead.
See, the second quarter surprised everyone. Although we had a negative GDP growth rate for the second quarter, I think we should look at it as an aberration. And but the numbers, if you look at any numbers, whether it's e-bills, e-tolls, even our housing sector, we never expected that September and October would be such fantastic new inflows of application compared to the previous September, October, which was pre-pandemic. So automobiles, I was talking to someone in the auto sector and he says October 2020 is a record in India of all-time highest number of sales.
GDP is definitely coming back. RBI recently revised its forecast to a lower negative growth than what they were projecting earlier. And obviously they expect a recovery to continue the next year. We see the recovery as uneven across various sectors because some of the sectors are yet to fully open up. And there is a sizable portion of the population which has borne the brunt of pandemic and is still bearing it. On loan growth, the overall trend seems to be improving, something that I mentioned during our quarter 2 results as well. The festive season saw the retail demand definitely pick up in comparison to the second quarter. And we obviously continue to focus on judiciously growing our loan book on the corporate side as well.
We are keen that each and every business and the sub-businesses within them become self-sustaining. And with that in mind, we did call out the deleveraging story, which the chairman had called out in the AGM. And one of the key imperatives of that is also to ensure that the businesses turn free cash flow positive. And what we have specifically called out is JLR will go free cash flow positive from FY22 onwards. Second half of this year would also be free cash flow positive. TML will also be free cash flow positive in the second half of the year. And the passenger vehicle business is something that needs to turn free cash flow positive, which will happen from FY23 onwards. These are the internal targets that we've given ourselves, and we are pretty confident that we'll deliver on those.
It was purely driven by the fact that the valuation we believe is very attractive. It's one of the cheapest, actually the cheapest tower company stock in the world today. As you know, we have complete information in public domain, so it's not hidden. But we do believe that it was a great valuation, and so it's a good investment, almost self-funding because of the dividends. So that's what it was about. No further plan at this point.
All right, those are all the big voices. We'll keep getting you excerpts of those exclusive conversations through the course of the day. But it's time to slip into a short break. But before we do that, we have a special announcement from our business and financial journalism stable. Money Control Pro, India's most popular subscription news service, has partnered Financial Times, one of the world's most trusted news brands. What this means is that subscribers of Money Control Pro get to read the best of Financial Times. We hope you will find this profitable.